Well, good morning. Good morning, everybody. I thank you so much for joining us on this afternoon for our very second virtual GGRA luncheon. Hey, I am Lorenzo Lewis and I am your president. And I don't want to go any further without acknowledging my executive committee because they do so very much to make sure that these things and all things GGRA goes without a hitch. So I want to acknowledge my vice president, Brenda Spar. I want to acknowledge our secretary, Antoinette Fields, and then also our treasurer, Taylor Davis. Thank you guys so much for what you do. And then also everybody that's on our advisory board. Thank you so very much. So I just want to say thank you once again. I know that we normally would have our Chick-fil-A, but I do have my free donut for the health worker wife. She's a health worker, so Krispy Kreme gives out free donuts for them. So that's what I'm going to have for my lunch as I speak with you on today. I want to also thank you so much for coming, but I want to thank our new members that are here on the call. And I want to first thank Robert Cox. He joined in March, and then also Pamela Carr, who joined in April. Thank you guys so much. Welcome to the team. We love to have you, and I hope many more would join us. We are actually giving out a discount, whereas normally $60, but you can join right now. If you sign up right now today, it will be $50 for the year. You don't want to miss that, do you? All right. So we're going to get started because we want to stay within the confines of the time. So I want to start with our announcements. Now, before I start, I just want to talk about, I know we all are still sheltering in place. I pray that everybody is being responsible and being safe out there because I know our governor opened up our state, but still in all, I would love for everyone to just use your discretion and just be responsible to protect yourself and also your family. But I just want to say these are the current updates right now. In the state of Georgia, there are 29,000 plus confirmed cases of the coronavirus. We have 0 recovered, and we have 1,246 deaths. Now, in Gwinnett County, we have 15,046 confirmed cases. We have 0 recovered and 52 deaths. I say that to say, please be responsible. Enjoy yourself, but please be responsible. And with that being said, we had a resource fair that was planned for June, but in spite and because of everything that's going on, we decided that no, we couldn't do that, being responsible. So we are planning on having one in July. We're planning to have it on the 18th, but we'll keep you further updated on that. And speaking of that, we have some wonderful things planned for July. We have some big things, but we'll talk about that later. But we're about that. So even though we've slowed down, we have not stopped. I just want you guys to know we are always planning. So when we're released, we're ready to hit the ground running. Now, before we get started, also, I want to just talk about some resources that we have. Gwinnett County has joined a partnership of community organizations to provide residents with the latest information about finding help, donating food and supplies, volunteering, and giving to local nonprofits during the pandemic. Now, if you want to know more about that, go to GwinnettCares.org. Again, that's GwinnettCares.org to find out these resources and more. Now, when we met last month and we were given the organization's updates, everybody gave some wonderful updates and just gave us some knowledge that we could take and go into our communities, things that are limited, things that are still being offered. So then with that, then we'll just turn it over to our Vice President.
So we had an awesome opportunity last month as Second Chance Month in April to do a kind of spur of the moment toilet tissue drive. We got contacted from Tom Trubb with his ministry. He is with the Churches of Christ of Snellville, and he contacted us and said he had come into possession of several boxes of toilet tissue, and he needed help distributing that. So GGRA saw that opportunity and reached out to our service providers who provide housing, and we were able to connect our housing providers at the Gwinnett County Jail last Tuesday. So there's a picture of everybody out at the jail. There's Lorenzo in the middle, Tom's on the right of Lorenzo. Then of course, Greg Kennard with Inspire Outreach, Lee Robbins and Alan Holiday with their organization. So we were able to give out a lot of great resources there. Here's some pictures of everybody picking up the tissue from Resolute Tissue Company. They're actually out of Orlando, and they were able to run off some extra toilet tissue and give them out to our different service providers here in Gwinnett County. So that's the type of thing that if you have extra supplies that you need distributed, give our GGRA hotline a call, and we'll make sure that these supplies get distributed to great causes in reentry. And this was all done during Second Chance Month. If you got our email or saw on our website, Gwinnett County, despite the shutdown, you can't shut down Second Chance Month. And
That's right.
We still went through with Second Chance Month in April. The governor didn't even have a chance to declare it because they weren't giving proclamations out. But Gwinnett County knew how much this meant to the county and how much the service providers give back to the county. And they went ahead and declared April 2020 as Second Chance Month in Gwinnett County. Back to you, Lorenzo.
Good deal. All right. So now what we want to do right now is bring up the announcements from our reentry organizations. Now, I would like to start with Antoinette Fields. Antoinette, are you on?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I have some updated information from Home First Gwinnett. Currently, Home First Gwinnett is operating 2 programs initiatives. The first program is the Coordinated Entry Hotel Motel Assistance Program. The second program is Home First Gwinnett Shield Program. The Coordinated Entry Hotel Motel Program was launched online, and it coordinated entry process for those persons who are in a hotel or motel and they need assistance to stay sheltered for those persons who are literally homeless and in need of a shelter. The system launched about 45 days ago, and this far they've had some more than 350 households reached out for them for assistance. Any person in need of shelter or assistance in paying their hotel motel stay should fill out their contact form, and I'll place that form in the chat, the URL in the chat for that form. The second program is Home First Gwinnett Shield Program. Home First Gwinnett Shield, they've partnered with both the Norcross Extended Stay and 8 in-town suite properties in Gwinnett to provide 30 days of shelter stay for any guest that is unable to pay their rent due to a negative economic impact of COVID-19. This is a short-term program. That's very different from the above program because Home First Gwinnett directly provides for the shelter stay where the above program clients are referred out to various partners. And they are seeking to expand this program as the pandemic continues and will provide additional hotel partners as they become available. If you have any questions about this, you can reach out to Matt Elder, and I will also place his information in the chat box. Thank you.
Okay, that's awesome. Antoinette, I don't know if you said this or not, but when someone applies, what's the turnaround that they'll get some information or get an answer?
I'm not sure. They've been sending stuff to us, and I believe they check their system every day. And for the first program that they send out to different community partners, I would imagine it, each community partner would have their own, time frame in which they they do their intake, whatever. Hope Atlanta has received some referrals from them. The other turnaround times, I'm not really sure what that is, but I'm putting Matt's information is in the chat box. And if anybody has any questions, they can contact him, and I'll also keep trying to get as much updated information as I can.
Okay.
Share with everyone.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so very much. All right. Who do we have next? Did anybody raise any hands? I think I may have saw Miss Norma. Did I see Miss Norma from the Gwinnett Legal Aid? Did I see that she raised her hand? No? Okay, we don't have any organizations that would like to speak.
We did have someone in the chat say that they've moved to Hall County and they need to know about that chapter and when they meet. So I don't believe there is a chapter like GGRA in Hall County, but if you'd like to start a chapter in your neck of the woods, in your county, get with us. Send us an email to info@GwinnettReentry.org and we will help you out. We'll let you know kind of the recipe to get one of those started in your county.
Okay.
Hey, and Brandon, Norma is saying that she wants to talk. I don't know if you see that.
Norma, you can go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. This is Norma from Legal Aid in Gwinnett County. I'm a paralegal. I just want to remind everybody that even if we're still working from home, we're still assisting all the people who needs. I'm going to write a lot of information. I already started on the chat. That way everybody can have that information. Obviously, we are taking emergency cases right now, but we have a special line for people who only speak Spanish for domestic violence clients. We have the FLIC assistance clinic also. We do family, juvenile, probate, consumer, education, employment, public benefits, and housing cases. And please feel free to share all the information, and I already started writing on the chat. And we are here for everybody. I know it's a hard time, but we don't know when we're gonna come back to our new normal.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right. Thank you so much, Ms. Norma.
You're very welcome. A pleasure to be here with everybody.
And thank you for everything that you do. Yes. All right. Do we have anyone else that would like to make an announcement from their organization or on behalf of the organization?
Yeah, Matt Davis has something to say about Hall County, I believe.
Okay, Mr. Davis.
Hey, all right. So whoever it is that's moved to Hall County, if you would, I'll put my my email in the chat real quick. I know a few groups up there.
Okay.
If I can remember how to spell Gwinnett. So one of the groups I know up there is a group called Straight Street. They're a great group. They have a few programs. One of them is a second-tier housing for victims of sexual exploitation, and they have tried to get involved with the jail system up in Hall County, and they've met a lot of resistance. But they're really good, and they're a good group to connect with. And I can also connect you with a group that does some domestic violence and sexual abuse stuff for victims up in Hall County, and they do a lot of counties. Actually, Lorenzo, I just connected you with them, Jen Tenorowski.
Yes, I emailed her back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so feel free to reach out to me, whoever that was. My email's in the chat, and I can at least get you connected with some groups that are doing stuff up there. And then, right while I'm here, hey, our clinic is still open, still seeing patients. We're starting to get harder stories. I think, as everybody here knows, right, that reports of domestic abuse and child abuse reports are down because people aren't able to get out. Kids aren't in school. Teachers aren't seeing them. We know those stories are up. Not last week, the week before, we had someone come in who lives in a house with quite a few people and was raped by one of the gentlemen that lives in the house. She filed charges, and he was able to post bail and come back home. So let's be in prayer, right, for all potential victims who are dealing with a lot of hard things right now, and they're not able to get away. Because if the abuser is stuck at home too, it's just making things a lot more difficult. So there we go. Thanks, guys.
Wow, man, thank you, man. But that's heartbreaking. It's sobering, but these are the realities these are some of the things we're not thinking about with the shelter in place. I mean, it's a ripple effect on so many levels. So let's just keep everyone up in prayer. Thank you so much for that information. All right, do we have anybody else raising their hands?
I think that's it.
Okay. All right, well then I'll turn it back over to you, Brendan.
So we have been working with the Georgia Gwinnett College for the past semester, probably even before the Better Chances Symposium. We started working with the students at the Georgia Gwinnett College, led by Dr. Gunay out of the Computer Information Systems Department, to design a better resource portal. Our mission is to connect the resource providers with each other, and it's what we do every month is bring people together so that they can meet each other and know about each other. Well, we don't have to wait for that once a month. We have a resource portal on our website. It's been kind of a rudimentary Google Maps for a long time, but we partnered with Georgia Gwinnett College to develop a better resource portal. So I'm going to bring on Dr. Gunay right now to talk about this program, and then one of his students is going to actually show you the new resource portal. So Dr. Gunay, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks for having me here. My name is Gunay, and I'm an assistant professor in the information technology discipline at Georgia Gwinnett College. And I'm very happy that GGRA and Brandon and Lorenzo, they were able to collaborate with us. So we are happy to give homeworks to our students who are learning software development, app building, projects that can help the community. So we are not charging anything, but on the backside, you're also only getting students to give you some kind of a prototype product. But we're happy to tell you that this semester we were able to complete a product, and Brandon was happy enough to put it on the official GGRA website. So we're very happy that our students were able to finish a product. And the credit goes complete to the students. I just connect the people together. Brandon was working with them the whole semester. He had to help them and show them guidance. And I also talk to them in the class about their progress, and I try to help them with the technical parts sometimes. But the credit goes to the students. Joshua Sales, who's going to speak now, Kang Ho, and Ashley Radke. There are the three of them. They worked this semester, and this is their project. And we cannot hear you, Brandon.
Yep. So Joshua, you are unmuted, and I can let you share your screen if you'd like to demo it, or I can demo it on my screen.
I'm prepared to demo it,
okay.
Whichever is better for you.
Great. Go ahead and share your screen. I've got it so you can share.
All right, is that coming through okay?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, well, thanks for having us. We're really excited to show this project. This is something we worked on all semester, and Brandon was kind enough to give it live hosting. So I'll come over here to the resource map where Brendan's previous product used to be. It's modeled in much similar way. We have a Google map on the right and a categories listing on the left. We're trying to show pins where all the organizations, providers are going to be. On the left, they're going to be organized in categories. Clicking on either of these carrots or the categories will expand each field. Notice that when all the categories are collapsed, you see the entirety of the organizations, but when you open a category, you see just the organizations that pertain to that. We have some real organizations on here for the data. When you click on one, it's going to zoom in, give you a little info bubble on the right, showing you the name, address, and phone number. And on the left, it's going to list, again, the details: phone number, website, email address, and description. We have these linked to the actual website of the organization, so that's easy to access. Clicking on the address takes you to Google Maps, so you can just quickly type in where you are and get directions to any given resource. So this is the front part of what we see. The biggest deal here is that this is really easy for Brendan or any administrator at the Greater Gwinnett Reentry Alliance to update. So I'll quickly demonstrate that. So each of these categories are available in a place called Resource Categories. We can quickly create a new category. I'll call this one Historical Buildings. It will not appear yet. We'll have to add a provider in. And I've just generated some test data for us. So we're going to put in the Gwinnett Historic Courthouse. We'll put that in Historic Buildings and create it. Before I move on too quickly, this is just basic information for really any organization. So now that that's in there, we can come back to this web page and refresh it. And we already see that the change we made is here. The Gwinnett Historic Courthouse is available to be clicked on, and the address works. If we had a live website, that would work. So now anytime providers are added, we can just really quickly add them and make it live to anyone who needs them. And I think that covers it, unless Ashley or King had anything to add.
They're both unmuted, but thanks. That looks great, and it's such an improvement over what we had before. This is amazing.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it looks great.
So we welcome everybody. We're going to be adding to it. This is still in its first delivery phase, so we're going to be adding to the resource providers. So if you don't see your name on there, don't worry. As we get time throughout the week and the weekend, we'll be adding to the resource providers. So stay tuned. Absolutely. You'll see your provider or your business, your organization up there soon. Thanks, Joshua.
Thank you very much, Brendan.
All right, I see that we've got Sergeant Baird on the call. Sergeant Baird, are you there?
I am. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, great. How you doing?
I'm running around like a lunatic, checking with my head. I don't know what's going on today.
Well, thank you for taking some of your time. Just give us some updates on what's been going on with GRIP since we last got together.
So obviously everybody is meeting via Zoom these days because of the corona-ness going on. So we're trying to adapt and overcome and still provide services for individuals that are exiting incarcerated in the Gwinnett County Jail. One of the primary ways we're doing that, and sorry, I'm getting a phone call. Let me decline that. Can everyone still see me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
So we actually installed teleconferencing equipment in the 3 therapeutic communities that we have.
Wow.
So that we can bring facilitators in digitally and do it's a digital classroom in the housing units that we're working in. So we're starting those tomorrow with Viewpoint Health, and hopefully we're going to expand that digital classroom schedule to encompass what we were providing before, but obviously in an environment that's safe for everybody to participate. In terms of other things, we're still trucking along, working on everything and anything to try and increase continuity of care for individuals exiting incarceration. Just doing a little bit at a time. Right now, we actually are running AB schedules with staff. So we're trying to do the same amount of work with half the personnel around today as crazily as I have. But appreciate everything y'all are doing, and I'm sorry it took me a minute to hop on, but things are going well, just busy.
Okay, great. Have a question now. As far as the teleconference that you guys are getting ready to do, that won't be available to those that are assigned residents under the GRIP program, like the coaches. Will they be able to? Because now no one can visit. Will they be able to visit with their participants?
No, we could certainly figure something out like that, but it wouldn't be a one-on-one. This is more of a classroom setting.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds good. Well, thank you so much. I know that you're busy. I appreciate you coming on because we've been wanting to hear what's going on with GRIP. So we appreciate you.
Not a problem. I appreciate y'all and keep up the good work. I'm going to go put out my next fire.
All right. Thank you, Sergeant. All right. Good deal. Okay. So now back over again to you, Brendan.
Well, next up, we've got Ryan Graham. Ryan Graham is the chair of the Libertarian Party of Georgia. They are a member of the Georgia Justice Reform Partnership, which works to help change legislation that involves reentry and to stop some of these this cycle from happening in the first place. So Ryan is going to give a talk about the Libertarian Party and kind of what they do for reentry and for criminal justice reform. So Ryan, I want to welcome you to the stage.
Thank you, Brandon. Is there any way I can share my screen? Do I
Yes,
just?
you can.
Great. So as Brandon said, my name is Ryan Graham. I'm the chair of the Libertarian Party of Georgia. And one of the things I wanted to do was just kind of go over, some of the high level, it's pretty quick. I know an agenda for a small presentation is a little bit much, but some of the goals and forms of activism that the Libertarian Party takes part in and how it relates to criminal justice reform specifically. I kept out a lot of the other stuff. So very simply, our goal, a world set free in our lifetime. It's on our website. It's part of our statement of principles, but that goes hand in hand with criminal justice. So, what does that mean? Generally, that means, hold on, can't see my screen. All right. In terms of our official platform, I picked out a couple of our relevant platform planks to criminal justice reform. So our very first platform plank is self-ownership. And I've bolded some of the important things here, where individuals have the freedom and responsibility to decide what they knowingly and voluntarily consume. So we get made fun of a lot, of course, for being, to put it in the loose terms, pot smoking Republicans. We do generally actually, we're very active in trying to legalize cannabis, but there's a baseline to it, right? There's a principle behind it, and we know how that destroys communities. And while it's not a silver bullet, that is a major issue that would help a lot of people a lot. So privacy. So in here we said we support the rights recognized by the Fourth Amendment to be secure in our persons, homes, property, and communications. And we're protection from unreasonable search and seizures, right? So that's very important to us, and we're committed to making sure that the government doesn't overreach there. Our 1.7 plank is crime and justice. I have shortened it quite a bit because it is quite lengthy, but the government should be limited to the protection of the rights of individuals to life, liberty, and property. So all the other crimes that they're doing, that they consider crimes and they're putting people in cages over, anything that doesn't have a victim, we shouldn't be putting people in cages over or fining them or hurting them with the force of power from the state. It's also supporting the constitutional rights of the criminally accused. So due process, speedy trial, legal counsel, trial by jury, presumption of innocence, the list goes on. So these are all the types of concepts that we fight for every day. Very easily, death penalty. We oppose the death penalty, flat out, right? So that one's pretty easy. This is an interesting one that we included last year or 2 years ago. We added it to our platform, and it's sex work. So consenting adults, engaging in contractual, business, we shouldn't be putting people in cages for that. So whether you agree with it or not, that's not really the basis, but we talk about putting people in cages, putting people in jail. Sex work is not one of the things that we should be putting people in jail over. So how do we take those platform planks and the things that we believe in and put that into action, right? So we have two different ways that we do it. We run candidates and we have different types of activism. I'm going to talk a little bit about our candidates and what they bring to the table. When we were founded, we essentially said candidates get an extra platform, right? So they're in these debates, they have forums, town halls, all these things. And we thought that the Republicans and Democrats or major parties were not really representing us very well or representing our issues very well. And so we said, to get that kind of platform, you got to create a political party. And so we did. And these days, this is what we get, right? I ran for public service commissioner in 2018, and I was in the Atlanta Press Club debate. All the statewide offices have Atlanta Press Club debates. They're mostly televised, except for the one I was in. But that's neither here nor there. But the Atlanta Press Club debates are, they're televised, and all the statewide candidates are available to be on there. So that is usually Democrat, Republican, and Libertarian in Georgia. We also get invited to forums all over the state, town halls. There's private debates, like the NAACP puts on debates in front of their constituents. And so we're invited to all those things throughout the year, giving us an extra platform to talk about those issues in our platform that are important to us. So for instance, and you guys can cut me off if you want here, we have a couple of candidates running for U.S. Senate this year. Shane Hazel's one of them. You can go to shanehazel.com, but this is what's on his website, right? So he talks about criminal justice reform right there on his website. So, thousands, tens of thousands of people who are looking at who to vote for are going to go to his website, and they're going to see him talking about criminal justice reform and not putting people in cages. So, and then Brian Slowinski is also running for U.S. Senate, and he's got these bullet points on his website, again, in the federal war on drugs, pardon nonviolent offenders in prison, talking about jury nullification. It's a platform to talk about these types of issues. So the second thing I talked about was activism. That takes kind of many different ways, and Brendan touched on this, where one of the major things we've been working on right now are strategic issue-based partnerships. So organizations that may not be partisan in nature or that may support, either Democrats or Republicans, typically, we don't really care, right? If you support our issues, then I think we can build a partnership with you. And we should be able to form partnerships with anyone, including other political parties. That's my opinion. That's how I run the LP Georgia. But part of that is organizations like Georgia Justice Reform Partnership, which is how I was introduced to Brendan and why I'm here. And then they've got like ACLU of Georgia, the Georgia Justice Project, the list goes on. And we also work with Peachtree Normal quite a bit, and that is the national organization for the legalization of marijuana somehow or another. But that's their Georgia chapter. So we work on issues with them. The type of events that we work on in those partnerships are Talk Justice Tuesdays, which I'm sure you guys have heard all about. I think you have. I don't want to assume too much. But that's basically where the Georgia Justice Reform Partnership took Tuesdays during the session to talk about different issues that were important to them. And one of the ones that we helped to organize was the reclassification of minor offenses. And the fun thing is how we made it all work together. So Peachtree Normal is a partnership that's not part of the JRP, but we got somebody the executive director of Peachtree Normal to come speak on that Talk Justice Tuesday. So we were able to act as a bridge for these two organizations to create a better event. Justice Day sponsorship, we have helped sponsor some lobbying training recently, although it did get canceled due to all the COVID nonsense. Other stuff like we just go out to like Atlanta Pride, right? We get a table every year. We're in the parade every year. We do signs in the parade that are usually, no victim, no crime, or legalize cannabis, things like that. And we, at the table, we talk about these issues. And then Second Chance for Georgia, which I know Brendan has been talking about quite a bit. We are a co-sponsor of that, and we've been, pushing the issue. So the other piece of activism that we bring to the table is base activation. So we're a base building organization, right? We are trying to reach out to other people who are libertarians in Georgia and get them to activate on these issues. And so, this is some examples of some of the base activation that we do on our website. Again, cannabis, this is one that's, don't criminalize farmers, and opposing HB 994. So we put this out to all of our, this was a great article too, if you want to go check it out, because it goes into a lot of the details about what HB 994 does and why it's a problem. And then, just, this was me, just hacking something together, but in cash bail in Fulton County. But all of these articles that we put out there, we also post to social media, and we ask people to take specific actions, like writing letters to whomever is making the decision, calling, emailing, writing on social media, sharing things out. So that's kind of our baseline activism. I don't know if I went under or over, but that is what I had. And if anyone has any questions, I'm willing to take them. I don't know how these usually go.
Yeah, anyone can ask a question in the chat. And in the interest of time, we might jump back in and pull you back in a little bit later. I don't see any questions right now in the chat.
Okay, and I'll just hang out in the chat too. So if anyone has questions, we don't even have to interrupt. Well,
perfect.
Great. Thank you, Ryan.
Yep.
All right. So now at this time, we would like to bring up Chaplain David. David, are you there to speak on the National Day of Prayer?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
There he is.
Very good.
Hey, I just want to say thank you all for getting a chance to meet, first time online. But I just am excited about the National Day of Prayer because it is the biggest time where the nation as a whole can come together and unite under the umbrella of intercession. It was very, very timely that the National Day of Prayer, in conjunction with this coronavirus, there's many accounts in the Bible that deal with the issue of plagues with the Israelites, and there was so serious that I'm told thousands of people had died. But what stopped the plague was intercession and prayer, and that brought it to a halt because the people began to understand that a plague is more of a spiritual issue than it is a physical issue. And sometimes we don't quite understand what God is up to, but it is pretty serious when it starts taking people's lives. So on the 7th of May at 12 noon, if you will to go online with us, go to bridgethegapministries.org. And the very first thing you'll see is the National Day Prayer. It will be online. And I would certainly be honored to have all of y'all to join in with us on that day. The information we'll be sharing or praying about is praying for the judges and also the pastors of Gwinnett County. Because it is very true, if you eliminate the court system and you eliminate the churches, the wrath of God falls completely. And that has happened in many countries that are completely non-existent because of those two institutions that God has stirred up, the court system and the churches combined together. So it'll be at 12 noon, and thank you for joining us online. If you can, we will be covering the 10 Commandments, and we'll have a prayer leader for every single of those 10 Commandments that God, we have broken as a nation, and to repent of all those 10 Commandments. Thank you all for letting me share with you. And Brendan, thank you so much for your time and energy and helping us to put it together. It's going to be a very monumental time. We've never done this before. It will be live at the courthouse itself, but it will be at the Fallen Heroes Memorial, which is in the very back of the courthouse parking lot, which is where we had it last year. So thank you. If there's anybody has any questions, I'd be more than glad to answer them. But this is pretty serious that we all come together under the umbrella of intercession for our nation, as well as our judges. A letter has gone out to all 50 plus judges, inviting them to come online with us. And I pray they will join us also. God bless you all, and thanks for the invitation to invite you to come.
Thank you so much, Chaplain. Appreciate you. Wow, this is definitely something that we all should get together and get behind. We can do it virtually now. This is the first time. So I believe that we all can come together and spend these moments in the National Day of Prayer, because, as you know, we need focused prayer for the Lord to hear us in this time. So please, everybody, come behind Chaplain David, and if you can, let's get together at this appointed time and show our solidarity through prayer. All right, well, so now we are at the question and answering session. Does anybody have any questions? With all the presenters that spoke today, does anybody have any questions about any of the information or resources that was spoke on today? You can raise your hand and you will have your mic unmuted.
Yeah, and while we're waiting on that, for the National Day of Prayer, I believe our own Matt Davis is going to be one of the presenters, one of the prayer leaders at the National Day of Prayer. So you'll definitely want to check it out to hear from Matt.
Great. That's awesome.
So yeah, if anybody has a need, anybody has anything in need, I believe that
right.
We had one from DCS.
Right, yes, from Deborah Kelly Whitfield. All right. Kelly.
Okay.
I mean, Deborah, I'm sorry.
Hey,
Deborah.
how y'all doing?
All
Good
right,
afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's staying safe.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I am the new community coordinator for Gwinnett County, the Lawrenceville Circuit, and just had a question. I'm looking for resources with our homeless returning offenders. Just looking for anywhere that while we're searching for permanent housing or temporary housing, does anyone know places that might let them like take a shower once or twice a week and get a bite to eat? That was my main question. Just looking for maybe, I know we don't really have shelters in Gwinnett. I'm still learning the area. I'm new to Georgia. So I'm just trying to find some resources with that.
All right, well, thank you for that. And now, anyone that's heard this question, could you please speak up now if you know of anybody right now, or if you would like to give them your information and maybe can respond to you through your email.
Okay, I'll do that as well now. Have one more question, Mr. Lewis.
Yes, ma'am.
The United Way, the partnership, the Home First Gwinnett Initiative. I wanted to reach out to my circuit after this, but one of the officers were asking, do they take sex offenders?
The one you're speaking of the one that's in Norcross?
Yeah, the Home First Gwinnett Initiative, long term and short term.
Okay, no, not at this time. We are encouraging people to start a reentry home, and we have resources that will help them specifically in terms of starting one for sex offenders. You can reach out to, I believe Brian DiNapoli will have some information on anyone that may have already started that process, or if you know of someone that would like to start one for themselves. But yes, as of right now, unfortunately, that's the one thing that I advocate a lot, but we just don't at this time.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
I believe Pamela Hillman has a question.
Miss Pamela.
Hey, everybody. It's so good to see great faces here. I miss everybody. Yeah.
I know.
Right. Well, it's not a question. It's actually an update on the building. Thank you, David Burgher, for introducing me to the 20,000 square foot building that you've prayed over since 2006. We did get the funding for the building. We actually closed on it on the 21st.
Wow.
Not the building. We don't close on the building. We close on the actual money. But I'm working with Dr. Ma, who owns the building, and it's all about the zoning. It's all contingent upon the zoning. If we don't get the zoning, then we're not buying the building. But a good thing is that it's only one letter away from us going back to what it originally was. So if everybody will keep that in prayer, that it's a quick rezoning, that would be beautiful. I appreciate that. And but to Miss Whitfield, we will be taking, it will house 50 women. So I think you and I could probably correspond and get together on that. It's in Snellville. The building is a 20,000 square foot building.
Okay.
In Snellville. So we'll be taking primarily the people that are coming out that have been in our program in the prisons already. We have an I See Me Free workbook program. It's a 4-phase program. And we provide a mentor for everyone who gets the workbook. And it's all done through email and video visit. So our program has actually expanded during this time because we're really the only ones that are in the prison right now. Okay. And because the people who used to go in from the outside, they can't go in, but we're already there. So it's just so many women and even the men now. So we do need men mentors. We've actually got our workbooks finished for the men. So if anybody is interested in becoming a mentor for a man in prison, we really need you. It takes 30 minutes a week to do an email, and you just go through the workbook program with them. But if you're interested, just contact me, Life Changers Legacy. My number's 678-768-1978. But on another note, back to the building, we are going to have a cleanup party and a rehab party. So we do have very minor rehab in the building. So if anyone has any groups of construction people that would be willing to come in, that would be awesome. We need your assistance, please. And I will keep everybody updated as to when that will be. And Brendan, I guess you can just keep the updates on the GGRA website. Okay, great.
So
I'm actually going to wait on talking about this until we closed and until we actually got the building. But since Ms. Whitfield, you mentioned that, I thought I would go ahead and bring it up.
Okay.
Well,
Thank
that's
you.
just a formality, Pamela. It will come.
Yes, amen.
But,
God brought these people to me. I wasn't even looking. I laid it at the cross and said, Lord, if this is something you want, you have to make it happen. And he did. The people came to me and said, we looked at your website. We heard you're looking at this building. And I was like, only you, God, only you. I got chills all over me.
So now for clarity's sake, this is just a women's facility, correct?
It is just for women, but we see this as just our prototype to continue, because this private banking system that we've connected with, they want to expand. They want to actually be our undergirding to expand this and do it for men, do it for sex offenders, the whole gamut. So you find the buildings for us, and so we'll move forward. Yeah.
We will definitely keep you lifted up in prayer. Thank you so much.
I believe Rachel's got her hand up.
Yeah, I don't have a need, but I did want to remind everyone by way of announcement, since you're currently on your computer or cell phone, go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All three of those, the GGRA handle is at Gwinnett Reentry, and make sure you like our page, follow us on Instagram, and follow us on Twitter. So when you go to Facebook, if you like a page, right next to it, there's these three dots you can click, and you can click follow, see first. If you see first, that means that every time you get on Facebook, up near the top of your news feed is going to be if you missed any post from GGRA, because I know that folks sometimes have questions, and it's kind of like sometimes we posted stuff online that if they followed us, they would have seen. And I also want to let you know, if you're a partner, Brendan can give more details on this, but as a partner, we can email on your behalf, and also if you email us at info@gwinnettreentry.org. I'm one of the people that receives those emails, and you can ask us to put out some sort of social media blast. If you have a picture to attach, like I tweeted about the National Day of Prayer. I haven't put it on Instagram yet, but I will in a little while on behalf of David. We also emailed everybody on our email list on behalf of Bridge the Gap Ministries. So if you want me to put something on social media, let's say Pamela wants me to put something out there about recruiting people for Life Changers Legacy, or just any sort of special announcement with an image attached or something, you can email that to us, and we can put that kind of stuff out there for you to try to just broaden your reach beyond just the people that are already part of your circle,
Wow. That's good stuff. Thank you, Rachel. Well, does anybody have any other question, or do they have any other need before we close out? Anyone? Well, before we do, I know we're right at the time. I just wanted to share something with everyone, and it's from Senator Rob Portman. He's a representative in Ohio. Senator Portman, he sent a letter to the Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin and Small Business Administration Administrator Jovita Garanza, urging the SBA to allow small business owners with criminal records to apply for the Paycheck Protection Program during this pandemic. Now, the Paycheck Protection Program provides forgivable emergency loans, and the program is designed for paycheck protection for businesses to keep rehire employees. As a result, if you spend the loan on payroll or rent, mortgages, or even interest penalties, the government will forgive that loan, so you don't have to pay it back. But currently, the SBA is denying the applications if you are an owner of 20% or more of the equity of the applicant who is incarcerated, on probation, on parole, presently subject to an indictment, criminal information, arraignment, or other means by which formal criminal charges are brought in any jurisdiction, or has been convicted of a felony within the last 5 years, you're not able to apply for that loan. So I would ask you to rally behind Senator Rob Portman in this letter that he sent to the Treasury, and that we keep in prayer that these people that are small business owners but just happen to have a criminal record, they need to have the playing field level. We talk about rehabilitation, but we have to walk this thing out. So nothing is going to happen unless we move by the movement of the pen. So get behind him. And if you want more information, you can email me and we can talk about that more. But I just wanted to share that in these times where everybody needs help, the small business owners that happen to have a criminal record, they're not allowing them to be able to help their employees. And in turn, it doesn't help their family. So everyone is losing in this. So just get behind us in prayer. That'll be something we can pray about on the 7th as well. Bring that up. So if anybody doesn't have anything else, then I thank you all for joining us on this day. But also, I almost forgot. We are not going to meet next month. We're going to take a month off, being that we pretty much will have the same information that we had today next month. We're going to reconvene in July, and we have some big things coming. Like we don't want to just let the cat out of the bag right now, but trust me, we have some big things coming in July, and we look forward to being able to tell you about it when those time comes. But we will send out the invite to let you know exactly when we will be reconvening on the day in July. So thank you all for coming today. And if we have nothing else, then I say this meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much for coming out.
Bye-bye.
Everybody have
Thank you all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. God bless everybody.
God bless y'all too. Thank you.